Hi Flosstube, I'm Misty Purcell, also known as Luminous Fiber Arts. Welcome to my channel. Today is Monday, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. I'm back to tell you about what I've been up to and give you my first Maynia recap, and I've been doing lots of stitching and celebrated a birthday and the semester ended. All kinds of exciting things were happening in 1 week. So I hope that you've been well, and thanks for coming back to visit with me today. I really enjoyed all your comments on my last video, and I'm sorry that I haven't had a chance to go through and like all of them yet, but I will take the time to do that and comment where I can. It was really interesting to hear how many of you had decided to let projects go and what your reasons were for it, and it was a variety of reasons. I just think that's very interesting, and I encourage you to let a project go if it's not bringing you enjoyment. And that was definitely the feedback I got from you as well, and I appreciate the encouragement. I mean, I was comfortable with my decision, but it was still nice to hear from you. Thank you for the birthday wishes as well, and I received a few more gifts, so thank you so much if you sent me a gift or a card, and thank you for the messages. It was a very, very nice birthday. One I won't forget, but it was very nice, and I received lots of messages and there were phone calls, and I made some of my favorite foods, and I stitched and watched TV, and just I had a good day. So thank you for your good wishes. Classes are over. I just need to submit some grades, and today this is I guess my first day of vacation theoretically, and it's pretty busy. Not with Spanish, with my shop stuff. Spanish has been fairly quiet, and for that I am grateful. It's nice to not have a million emails of things to do. So yeah, this is finals week at the university, but we don't have any finals. So I'm just moving on, and I'll be submitting grades and enjoying my summer. So let's just get into talking about stitching, shall we? All right. What I've been doing for the past week is, and I think this is probably what I'll continue to do, is I'm just rotating my whips. After doing the 24 hours of cross stitch, I found that, doing an hour on a project brought me noticeable results. And so that's what I've been trying to work on, is an hour on every whip as much as possible, rotate all of them for now, and just move them along. So that's what I did. So I'm going to show you the whips that I've been working on this week. I had not one, but 2 new starts because I was so excited to try my new lap stand that I needed to start something new. So I'll show you that as well. Okay, let's just get started then. I have to grab things, so please excuse me as I dive in and out of the view. So I worked on button up. I moved on to the next block. I'm down here at this point, so I've moved on to this block here. This is by Prairie Schooler. This was a Christmas Day start with Helen D and Amy from Amy Loves Toads, and many other people joined us and many other people finished, but I, not surprisingly, have not finished. This was not December of 2019, however, this is December of 2018. So now that I've ditched American Flag Quilt Sampler, this has become my oldest whip. Not bad, really. I have quilt whips and UFOs that are much older, so I feel pretty good. Alrighty, and there's kind of threads everywhere, so you can just try to like block all the threads out. So that's what I got done in an hour. Looking good. I am debating, I shouldn't have put that away. I am debating whether you'll notice that is that the rightmost on your, yes, the rightmost block on the bottom corner has the sky filled in, and I filled in the sky in the top middle, and I'm trying to decide if I need to do that for balance on that last block. I would like to finish this, and the sooner the better. So I think what I'm going to do is, when I get to that block, is stitch everything but the sky and then decide what I want to do. I'm trying to not rush I want this to be done, and I'm all about finishing things, but I'm trying to not rush it such that I don't enjoy it at all. I think there's a weird, like, fine line. You get to a point in a project where you do just want it to be done most of the time, with some exceptions. And how do you make that last bit enjoyable still when you're just like, all right, I'm ready to move on? I don't know the answer. I'm putting that out there as a question. If you have coping strategies, you let me know. Caffeinating today because I like to match my stitching. Actually, not because I like to match my stitching, because I like coffee. Coffee first, second, third, and last. And in that order. Okay. Next up, everything's kind of scattered here, even though I try to tidy up. Next up, another hour went into berries in a basket. I don't think you can really tell. Oh, I forgot to say, just in case you're new here, that button up was stitched on 32 count snow day. Dyed by me. Okay. Berries in a basket is stitched on 40 count macchiato. Dyed by me. Yeah, I don't know that you can really tell my progress, but I stitched another berry and I started it on this leaf here and did a little bit down there. So that particular hour doesn't look like much, but we're getting there. And I'm looking forward to finishing this as well. It needs some stitching in here and then the birds on top. I think it's going to be a while still before I finish it. But it's coming along. And again, I'm trying to just think about it in terms of, okay, I'm just doing an hour on this, not trying to rush anything. Maybe that is the secret. I will let you know if that's a secret to maybe enjoying something even when it's towards the end and you want it to be done. I'll report back. Alrighty, next up, Ye Old Crow. Getting a little bent in there. This is by Heart and Hand. Made some good progress on that, so another hour went into it. And this is being stitched on 46 count Opulence. This is my first time stitching on 46 count. I don't find it to be especially different from 40, except that it seems to me that the floss gets, at least this particular floss is getting a little bit more abraded by the fabric. So I feel like the floss frays a bit more as you get towards the end. That's what I'm noticing. And I'm using a ball tip needle to stitch this in hand. I'm using the sewing method. So I want to try 56 next. To me, the 56 count looks like it's even going to be easier to see than the 46, which I know sounds counterintuitive, but it just seems like the holes are somehow bigger because the threads are smaller. I don't know. I was test dyeing Sparrow on a 56 count and it came out a little bit lighter than I want, so I'm going to see if I can get it darker, but I might use that test piece because I want to see what it's like to stitch on 56. But back to this. I finished the vines and I did my initials. I couldn't quite do them spaced apart the way that they are on the pattern. She's got one stitch of, you know, like one row of space between them. There's no room for that for my initials. My initials are huge. The M, it's big. But you can see I have not got much to go. I mean, this is maybe, I'm not good at judging time, but I would guess a couple of hours, maybe 3 at most. I'm not a good guesser of how much time I have or how long something will take. Then I worked on this yesterday, Souvenirs of the Heart by With Thy Needle and Thread. It was the most beautiful day yesterday. The weather, it was amazing. It was sunny. It was 70. I sat out on the deck in my shorts and a t-shirt and I stitched, and it was just like the perfect temperature, the perfect weather. It's like one of those like golden days that you always look back on in your memory of like, it's just like the perfect, most beautiful day. The day that good memories, golden days that good memories are made of. So I tried to drink it in as much as I could because it was so beautiful. I went for a walk. So I stitched on this. I stitched on this for a total of an hour, but I only baked in the sun for a half hour. Man, it felt good though. So good. I'm sun deprived. So here's where I am. I finished the house. And now I get to put a planter or an urn on top of it. This is a DMC conversion of my own creation. This fabric is 27 count Linda, dyed by me in colorway Sparrow, and it's stitched over 1. This frame, I get asked about my different frames. So these are Edmunds stretcher bars, which I like for smaller projects, and I stitch this on a lap stand by Kay's Creations. That's pretty much the only thing I use the Kay's Creations lap stand for. Then I have 2 different kinds of scroll rods. I only have one today that I'm using, the Artisan Design, and then I also have Roll-A-Frame. I use both of those with my Kay's Creations floor stand. And then I recently, in my last video, showed that I got a Hardwick Manor hoop and sit-on stand. And I just won't call it what it's called. Anyway, that is my newest thing that I'm using. So I do a little bit of the sewing method, and I just try to space it out because it seems to be hard on my body long term to do the sewing method, sewing in hand, stitching in hand. So by balancing it out with stitching on a frame, that helps a lot. And I can stitch pretty fast two-handed. So that is something that I just taught myself after hearing other people talk about it. It's not hard to do, but it feels awkward at first. And it probably took me about a month before I felt like I got the hang of it. So, you know, anything that you try. So that's the thing that I'm trying to adjust to right now with the Hardwick Manor hoop and sit-on stand, is that I'm not used to it. I'm not used to the setup and the angle. Like, it's very nice, but it's not comfortable yet. I just need to use it more. I probably need to use it for like a month before I'll feel comfortable. So if you're using something and it's not feeling comfortable, we'll keep adjusting it, but give it time as well. Sometimes that's what it takes. Alrighty. Let's see what else I did. These are the new starts. I had 2 of them. This one was predicted to be a Stitch Maynia start, but I just jumped the gun. This is what I started to stitch on the hoop so I could test it out. This is Summer Delivery by Plum Street Samplers. This came out last year. Really like it. I changed almost all of the colors to look a little bit more like the cover photo, which I thought color-wise matched my patriotic decor colors in general. So it doesn't look like I did anything, but I did. This is what I got done. So this is stitched on the frame. Like I said, this is 40 count Sparrow. And the red is a substitution. I think the green was what was called for, but the red is a Weeks floss that I had. And so I started in the middle since I was doing this on the hoop, whereas normally if I'm stitching on a frame, I start in the upper left corner. So very pretty, not too exciting. It's a lot of fill-in, which in a way is better for me to stitch in hand, but whatever. I'll just keep going. I think my stitches look a little bit better when I stitch them on a frame than in hand. So especially because there's all that white, I really needed to put it in some kind of a frame. And I have to blame a little bit Kim Goldman, I think, for that start too, because she was working on it and I was like, oh, I just want to start that. So thanks a lot, Kim. Kim is on Instagram. Okay, birthday start. Ta-da! Well, we knew this was happening. So this is called the Bee Skep. That's what I was starting. It's from the book Agnes Platt's Strawberry Sampler. And I have copies of this on their way to me from Hoffman. So if you need to get this book in your life, and if you don't have it, the answer is that you do need to get this book in your life. I'll have some soon. So I started this on my birthday, and then I worked on it one other time. It's really hard to put down because I love it so much. This is where I'm at. Very fast stitch, I would say. Aren't those bees so stinking cute? They're little lazy daisy stitches. I haven't done them in a while. So the only thing that I've changed is that star. It was 2 colors blended together, and I'm stitching this with 1 strand of floss on 40 count macchiato. So since I'm doing 1 strand, I just looked for a weak Starworks gray I had that I thought was comparable to, there goes my bag, to the pattern. I think everything else that I'm using is the charted floss. So I dearly love it. It is so fun and so beautiful and delicate. So good. Many of you suggested that I stitch on Sparrow for my Blackbird Designs Loose Feather Seasons piece. So I'm still mulling that over. I was feeling pretty firmly in the Sparrow camp, but then when I saw how beautiful this was and delicate, then I was like, oh, on the macchiato. So even though I thought I'd made up my mind, now I'm not sure. Again, I'll overthink it some more and then I'll make a decision. Alrighty, so that's what I've been stitching. I didn't really have time for a crafty free-for-all on Saturday because I was getting ready for a shop update. So what I did do is for my birthday, I got Procreate. It's an app. I got it on my iPad. I got a new iPad for my birthday. And an Apple Pencil. I've been thinking about getting Procreate for a while and doing all this investment in things, but I was hesitant because I wasn't sure I would use it. And I didn't want to spend a lot of money for something that I wouldn't use because it's an investment. So I tried out my boyfriend's tablet and his Apple Pencil and liked it, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can make this investment. So I watched some tutorials first before I bought it and decided yes, this is good. So I got one, and that was what I did on my Saturday for a while. I watched some tutorials and learned about Procreate and made some drawings and stuff, and it's really, really interesting and fun, and I'm hoping it will be a good tool for me in designing. And so I've been doing doodling and just learning how it works. Apparently you can do animation in it, which totally appeals to me. Even just a little bit of animation would be fun. So I guess the crafty free-for-all was learning a new tool, which is a good thing to do. So I had my shop update on Saturday. The fabric went into the shop and it went right out. I mean, it was all gone in 2 hours. So I'm sorry if you missed it. I had a lot of people get a hold of me and ask about it, and I'm definitely dyeing it again, for sure. It's going to be part of my regular lineup. Doesn't mean I can dye it every month, just means that I will offer it regularly. So I am gearing up for a design release, which if you saw my newsletter, you saw the peek at the new design, and thanks for your nice messages to me. I'm glad you like it. I love it. I'm super excited about it. So anyway, I'm gearing up for that. I'll be sending out a newsletter to shops pretty soon, and I'm gonna release it to them first and through my distributor, and then I will have it in my shop later this month. So I'm dyeing fabric for that. If I have time to dye some Sparrow in there, I will. If not, I'll have it in June. So don't worry if you missed out. Please do not despair. It'll come back. I've got fabric and I've got dye, and I just need time. So I'm glad you like it. I'm excited for you to get it in your hands and start stitching on it. I think you're gonna love it. And so I'm restocking some things in my shop. I will have floss packs coming back into stock pretty much any time now. And I dyed some rayon ribbon. So for market, there's just something so satisfying about a pile. of hand-dyed rayon ribbon. It's something, I don't know, it's just the pile of it is amazing. So for market, I dyed quite a bit of rayon ribbon in some different new colors and took it to market for shops, like as a thing that was special to thank them for coming into my room. And now I'm making the new colors slowly available to you in my shop. So this is the first one I'll be offering, the first new color. This is Robin's Egg. And it is both kind of a light blue and then there's a bit of a yellow green in there. It's so pretty. That's fairly accurate. Maybe a little bit brighter than what it actually is, but it's beautiful. So that's the first new one I'll be offering. So I'll be putting that in later today, but I've got floss packs coming in. My Weatherwise copies sold right out. I've got more on order. So I'll have that again. The loose feathers are coming. So I have lots of things coming in. So please keep checking the shop. And is there anything else? I think that's all I have for today. So I will see you again in a week. And thank you for visiting with me. And I hope that you have a great one. Be safe, be well, and I hope you get lots of stitching in. Take care.